Welcome back to the NCU. That is Nerd Culture Undisputed. I am Kyle Wright, and I've got a great panel of guys here with me today. The boys, as we call it. Our first Nerd Culture recording all together. Our first right-on product. Our first right-on product in general together. First of all, let me introduce you guys. You guys know him for the Right On Squared Circle podcast, Mr. Scott Hollinsworth.
What is up? Now you actually get to see how horrible I look.
Oh, got the old Samurai Jack stuff going on over there. I love it. I love it. And, of course, making a kind of a frequent flyer here on the Nerd Culture Undisputed show, Mr. Walker Barrow.
What's going on, guys?
Good, officer.
Good officer.
Oh, welcome to the show, guys. We have a great episode here because about 48 hours ago from the recording time of this, we got the second trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home, and the three of us have been in our group chat, and we've been just losing our minds, and we're extremely excited about this. So what we've done here is we've built a series of questions for each other going into this movie, coming out of that trailer. So just in case we get any of this crazy shit right, spoiler warning, right? I mean...
Yes.
I mean, if you haven't seen the trailer, if you're one of those people that are trying to avoid the trailers, maybe sit this one out.
I mean, yeah. I know one that has avoided the trailer like the plague.
Yeah, so. I don't know how people can do that. I don't have the mental strength for that.
Oh no, it's like I told Walker, I kept refreshing Sony's Facebook or YouTube page. Dude, when I clicked on the video to watch it, I was viewer number 3. I was refreshing, ready to go.
Yeah, I don't do well with stuff like this. I avoid leaks. I hate leaks, so I don't do those. But spoilers, I'm a fangirl of. So if I don't go see a movie like this or Avengers Endgame like the night or the night after it comes out, I'm probably gonna go fishing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I hate spoilers. Can't stand them. Anime. Movies, anything is just leave the spoilers away from me.
Yeah, we know you like anime, Walker. We've been over that on this show.
Jeez, that is scary.
Well, we're shut down. We're shut down. There it is. I've been waiting for it.
Is that a copyright or not?
No. I hope not. I hope not.
All right.
We need to get a little hentai watermark to put on Walker's camera when he talks.
Get like the blushing,
the blushed eyes
on Snapchat.
Oh my God. All right. So I'm taking the first question here, fellas. So obviously we're seeing these villains, right? We've got all these guys coming back, but the question is, how in the hell are some of these guys even alive? And I understand, I just want to hear your takes on it.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a huge question that I'm sure a lot of people are asking with this trailer. You know, Sandman, Doc Ock, Lizard. I mean, there's just so many villains that we see in the trailer, and Green Goblin. I mean, all of them at some point have died, and we're like, where did they come from? You know, we go back to Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin and Spider-Man. You know, he's pierced through the wall. Don't feel like I have to say a spoiler warning for that one because it came out in 2002. But he dies in that. And he's there, and it's very obvious it's Willem Dafoe. We hear his voice; it's just his character. I remember hearing something. I want to say it was. I don't remember exactly where it was from, but supposedly they're plucked from whatever timeline they're originally from at the moment of their death. And you know, we got Doctor Strange's out of body thing that he does, especially when we see it in the trailer with Peter. Could it be something like that, and they found this universe's equivalent of that character? I don't know, and it's just somehow morphed into that body. I don't know. It's just wild to me how all these characters have come back, and that's just something that I guess we'll have to wait to find out, at least for me, because I know we all have our own hot takes with that.
No, I agree with you, though. I thought about it, and, you know, Strange has... the time stone, that's his whole thing, and that's what I was thinking is they have to have been plucked from a certain time in their own timeline where they were still alive,
right?
Whether I don't know if I like the idea of right before their death, But at the same time, I mean, as long as they're alive, I don't think it really matters.
Right.
But I'm right there with you, Walker. I'm thinking that at some point, whenever they were doing that spell to, make sure everybody forgets who Peter was, or who Spider-Man was, I'm sorry, it opened up a portal in every other world, and they were like, let's go through it. I mean, as simple as that sounds.
Right.
I could get with that. I mean, I've kind of got the same exact answer, right? Because we've heard that they were plucked from the exact moments of their death, which I can't wait to see how the movie explains that, because it really makes no damn sense for let's say Harry Osborn's Green Goblin. We watch him take his last breath. I mean, obviously Doc Ock, he's just falling down in the river. We know we don't really see his quote unquote last breaths, but we get to see that with Harry Osborn. So I'm really interested in how they're gonna end up playing that off, because it's really weird, man. It's a hard concept to grasp, but just to get fun, right? Let's just say that they I don't have a follow up for that. I was trying to create something different, but it's not logical. It's weird, and I feel like right there, if you take Harry Osborn from the very moment he dies, who was right there in his face. So if you're waiting for,
you mean Norman?
Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn. God, you let me say it like 8 times before you correct me. But
I was wanting to make sure that I was right in my head and knew the actual name.
No, yeah, Norman Osborn. Sorry, Harry is Franco. But obviously, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, is there in Norman Osborn's face when he takes his very last breath. So it's going to be hard if you're saving that for that big surprise moment in the movie, if you're going to pluck these guys right from the moment that they died.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is the answer that we've been given, so we'll see.
Well, you think about it, I mean, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man comes in and lays Norman's body on, like, that futon couch-looking thing as Harry's walking in, and that spawns the whole thing for the Hobgoblin with Harry. I don't know, like, you don't really see any funeral scene. You don't know what happened to Norman after. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to play into it.
You know he's dead from the frightening flashbacks, right?
Yeah. I just love Norman whenever he finally dies and he's like, don't tell Harry. He just slams on his glider. Just boom.
I love being able to see Willem Dafoe's Vinegar Strokes. It's just the best.
One of my favorite actors. God, I love Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, he's great. One of the best living actors today.
Yes.
Living, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So for our second question, we got kind of building off of continuing with the villain trend that we got going on. Does Doc Ock successfully build his redemption arc with this movie?
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does. I think that's what we get on top of. Is it the Empire State Building that we're on top of? Whatever building we're on top of.
Right.
In the trailer, I think that's where he builds it. Because, you have a lot of activity going on around up in that area.
Right.
And it would just make sense. Because I think he's going to rebuild it successfully for a time. Definitely think it's going to get destroyed. Yeah. And just during all of this fighting that is to come. But I think he's going to successfully build it. And we're going to be able to see, truly, what his intentions were with having it. At least for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's got the access to the nanotech now, as we've seen in the trailer. So that's going to make this a lot more interesting. But I mean, absolutely, right? There's got to be some kind of main plot point. And there's got to be some reason that Doc Ock is the villain that we are 100% focusing on in all of these trailers. Because he's the first one we knew about. He's the very first one we saw in the first trailer. Obviously, we hear Goblin, but we see Doc Ock from the very get-go. So, I mean, the easy answer is yes, right?
Right. Yeah, kind of building off what Kyle said, with the nanotech, that could be something that's hinting towards that redemption arc, and, especially with, the fight scene with Electro, Lizard, and Sandman. Doc Ock's not there, so could he be on the protagonist's side is a good possibility. And continuing on with what Kyle said, we get a lot of dialogue and a lot of interaction with Doc Ock and Peter, MJ, and Ned. There's just so much between the two. I feel like there's going to be some sort of dynamic, whether it be them combining their forces or just something that they threw together for the trailer to make us think that. Would just be interesting to see.
Yeah. Continuing still onto the train or the role that we're going on of villains, we have in this movie Lizard, Doc Ock, Goblin, Sandman, Electro. Now, typically, if you're a Spider-Man fan, the Evil Six.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be our six?
I guess the easy answer, right? From another spoiler warning. I don't know why you're still watching, if you're or why you're even in this invested if you haven't seen Venom 2. But the post-credit scene of Let There Be Carnage, Venom is now officially in the MCU. So the easy answer is Venom.
Yeah,
because he's the Lethal Protectors now with Eddie Brock, and they're going to be going after bad guys. And their very first impression of our Peter Parker is he's a murderer, he's a bad guy. So there's your easy answer for number 6. And they're obviously, like Scott said, they're not going to do a Sinister 5. They're going to do the Sinister 6, right? So there's got to be a 6th. I'm actually going to go out on a limb here and go with Rhino, because we see him at the end of the Andrew Garfield's second Amazing Spider-Man movie. He's there at the very end. He's fighting him. So I don't know. This is trying to be different, man. It could also be Vulture. It could be Kraven the Hunter. We know he's officially been casted now, and there's your interesting variant thing, because he's being played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who also played Pietro Maximoff, Scarlet Witch's brother. So I don't know. Just trying to go off the wall with that one.
Right. So, the very obvious answer, like Kyle said, is Venom. We, at the end of Let There Be Carnage, it pops them in. Venom and Eddie are all about fighting for the good, of course. So that would be the obvious choice, since Peter is labeled as a murderer and I guess a terrorist for what it's alleged that he did. With the timeline splitting, all of this is connected. What if we get like Sylvie?
Ooh.
That
I like busting this up a little bit, because the easy answer.
At the end of the trailer, we get the cracks. It's purple, or is it purple?
It is purple. What about Kang?
It is purple. So we could get Kang the Conqueror. But there's so many things that it could be. It could be Rhino. I would like to see Vulture. They haven't alluded to anything regarding Vulture, but I think he would be a cool mix-up to throw in. Oh, here comes Vulture. Yeah, let's get at it. I could also see it being Hobgoblin and having Goblin squared. And if it's Hobgoblin and it's not James Franco, could it be Flash? Could we be getting Flash as the new Hobgoblin? Could that spawn some new takes?
I have
as
a theory.
That character.
I've got a theory on that. I hate to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I've got a theory on that one.
That's my take on that.
I'll go after Scott, because I got the next question.
Me personally, I want it to be Rhino. I do. I've always loved Rhino as a bad guy. Like, I love that character in Spider-Man, and I love, but I hate that we got like a 5-minute teaser of it in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield. But whatever.
Right.
So be it. But I would love to see the MCU bring Rhino to life, even if it's just for this movie. I would love to be able to see that character finally brought to life and really be able to kind of showcase the fact that he's a pretty badass character.
Right.
He's strong as hell. He's big as hell.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me personally, I want it. I want Rhino more than anything, but I 100% do believe that it's going to be Venom.
And there's many other possible scenarios you could play off of. Obviously, Scorpion at the end of Homecoming in the post-credit scene. Where are we at with Scorpion here? Because he's trying to get information off of Vulture there in that prison, so it could be him. Is Mysterio dead? Could it be Mysterio? Like we see him die, but how many times do we see Mysterio die in that film? So
that's going back to our first question where we talked about the moment of death, man.
Right.
God.
So is it maybe even pulling him out of his moment of death and bringing him back? And dude, so crazy. But I have a crazy theory before we get on to this before my last asked question. We've got 3 more questions here, one more round of table. What if, right, so obviously Norman Osborn gets defeated in this movie, but some of his tech is left behind. That scene where we see MJ fall, she is standing next to Ned when she falls. So stay with me here.
Okay.
MJ falls, she gets saved. But Ned falls. We don't see Ned fall in the trailer. So let's say Ned falls. Ned paralyzes himself from the waist down, and now he blames Peter for that. Ned finds some of the Goblin's gear that is left behind. Ned's a tech guy.
Oh.
Ned is the new Green Goblin.
Oh shit.
Huh.
That's just
wow.
Just something I put together.
That's a hot take.
I mean, listen, we know that Goblin has kind of always been friends with Peter Parker. Harry Osborn was really good friends with Peter Parker, and then whatever the hell they did in the Amazing Spider-Man, they're pretend Goblin. I don't remember if that was even Harry Osborn. Those movies were forgettable, even though I do like Andrew Garfield.
I do like Andrew Garfield.
They were forgettable.
Yeah. I think Andrew Garfield might be my favorite actor out of the 3 because the stuff that he's done outside of Spider-Man's always been good.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. But
now, Tobey Maguire and Brothers, that hit way different.
That's a good one too. It's a good one too. And Tom Holland in that
good
jacked up Netflix movie that we watched. What was that? The Devil All the Time.
Yeah.
Jesus, yes.
I thought it was good. I bought the book.
It's a good movie, but it
pretty
is
good too.
fucked.
It is.
All right. Next question here. I'm a little worried about this movie, and it seems to be going in a lot of different directions. So my question for you guys is, what the hell does this offer for the future of the MCU?
That's a good damn question, man. We got this next phase come out. We got a slew of movies and TV shows, or streaming shows, I guess technically. That's like a really hard question, coming off of this, it's been said that this is the darkest thing Tom Holland's worked on, and Spider-Man, I mean, even though it has had its dark moments, I don't think it's been as dark as what they were trying to portray. But just going from that really low point, I've always heard the only way you can go after getting that low is to go up. But as far as alluding to other things, we got the multiverse of madness. Could that play into Strange's feature that he's got coming up? I feel like we'll get more info, obviously, as we watch the movie. This is a really hard question for me when I read this, because I've spent all day thinking about it. And that's just the best that I can come up with, is that it's just going to have to show a problem that's not going to get completely solved in just this movie. It's going to affect the rest of the MCU, and it's just going to be a conglomeration of all the next shows and movies that come into fixing just this problem that has occurred in this movie. So,
I'm gonna agree with that it is going to cause a lot of problems, but I think this is going to be the end of, and hear me out, this is going to be the end of Tony Stark completely.
Oh.
The reason I say that is because, I mean, obviously, if you look outside of movies and you look into actual who the characters are that are playing them, you know that this is Tom Holland's last movie as Spider-Man.
Right.
So to me, I love Spider-Man, but I see him dying in this movie, and that's going to take, like I said, that'll take Tony Stark out of the picture as well, too. Because, of course, you still have all of his technology with Spider-Man. Now, if you get rid of him, and Tony already died, and then if Peter dies, you can kind of play off getting away from the technology side of the Avengers. Because, you'll still have, like, Hulk left, and Thor, and just a lot of more people who are they're more magical powerful than they are technology powerful.
Right.
Which is where I think this whole next chapter is going to finally start taking us. We're going to start getting into more powers than we are technology.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like
So that-
I'm sorry to cut you off, and I'm gonna let you finish. But that's a very good take because I've talked about this before, not on the show, but in our conversations, where I feel like the days of Captain America, like he's almost useless in this new MCU that we're starting to build here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like he wanted to stay old and retire, or not retire, but like, get old and have an actual life with Peggy, and he did.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, you have the new Captain America, don't get me wrong, which is still all, just technology. But
Right.
you look past that, like you have like the Eternals that just came out, and you still have Thor, you still have Hulk, which I don't know if Hulk is ever going to get his own damn movie, but
She-Hulk is kind of a banner series,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
yeah, I guess.
Kind of.
I don't know. I think this is going to be the final resting place for Tony Stark and his technology, along with Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Because, I mean, if you get past this, like, yes, you can still do, of course, a bunch of more movies because you have the Sinister Six and many more. But that doesn't really help the MCU. At that point, you're the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man again.
Yeah.
well,
So,
everything has been Tony Stark, and I mean, it's kind of, I love Robert Downey Jr. We all love Iron Man. Like, none of this is anything without Iron Man. But I mean, Armor Wars, the new series coming out with Don Cheadle, is the plot point of that show is what happens when Tony Stark's stuff gets into the wrong hands, and this is like after he dies, and it's like every goddamn movie is that.
yeah.
Everything's that, and that's my worry. Are you done, Scott?
Yeah, no, that's that's where I felt too. Like, that was my worry. So I think that's how they're going to get rid of it. The last known like user of Tony's technology, and anyone who, if anything, could figure out how to destroy it, is going to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Right.
I for the future of the MCU, I have a couple small concerns with this movie. Knowing what's coming next, seeing all the, knowing that Wanda is going to be involved in the next movie, it almost feels like this movie is more of a Doctor Strange movie than it is a Spider-Man movie. And I understand, like, everything's Spider-Man here, right? Like, obviously, we're going to get Tobey Maguire, we're going to get Andrew Garfield, but this movie almost feels like it's more of a prequel for the Multiverse of Madness than it does a Spider-Man movie. And one of my biggest concerns for this is that it kind of seems like fan service might play a major role in this movie. Like, they just want to make people happy and get them to shut up instead of building the future of the MCU off this movie. So I don't know. That's just one of my concerns. What it's going to do for the future of the MCU, though, just to go on a positive note here, I think that, not to spoil anything for our next question, but I think this is the end of Peter Parker. I don't think it's the end of Spider-Man. I think it's the end of Peter Parker. And I think that he ends up making a sacrifice at the end of this movie somehow. And that's, I'll save the rest of my take for the answer to this next question. Walker?
Yeah. And that is there any chance of a Miles Morales appearance? Good question.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. I think so. To kind of play into what Kyle was saying, I hope I don't take exactly what you were fixing to say. I think the heroic moment is going to be something, I'm hoping, something to do with saving Miles. Kind of passing the torch, basically.
Right.
Because I would love to see that. I would love just, obviously it's not confirmed, but Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, of course, in this movie. We all know we're not dumb.
Well, unless that was John Cena punching Lizard in the Brazilian trailer.
Exactly. Exactly. We're not that dumb. So, but I think Miles would be he would be the surprise, I don't think it would be nothing big, and it won't be a lengthy surprise. I think it'd be towards the end.
Yeah.
But I would love to see Miles Morales, because, like, as you say, I don't think this is the death of Spider-Man. It is the death of Peter Parker, though. I do truly believe. I honestly, I think he's going to drop, or not drop, but not catch MJ. And at that point, it'll just kind of snowball into effect that he'll just end up sacrificing himself, realizing I can't save everybody, but at the same time, I can if I sacrifice myself.
Right.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I don't know. That's my take on it. I do. I think Miles will come in somehow. I'm not sure how.
Well, I want to say that the entire Spider-Verse idea was, well, like as far as cinematically, obviously there's a shit ton of comics, but cinematically, the entire Spider-Verse idea was built on Miles Morales. If anybody saw the animated movie back in, I think it was 2018, I'm not 100% sure. I don't have that information right in front of me, so I'm sorry if I screwed that up. But you know how the nerds are in the comments, guys. You're gonna get all over.
You're right.
They're undisputed.
Darth Vader's not in that movie. No, I mean the entire idea of a Spider-Verse was built on the idea of Miles Morales. So I hope that they bring him in. There have been rumors on it, like everything else in this movie, except obviously I worry a little bit that he might be overshadowed by Tobey and Andrew if he does come in. But if anybody can get it right, it's not Sony. It's going to be Disney. So, the new
really
Spider-Man. Go ahead.
Really quick, because I want to know your answer to this as well. If he does make an appearance, who plays him?
I was going to ask that.
I don't have a list of actors just chilling in front of me, but I mean there are some really good ones out there. Miles Morales is a teenager, so you could pull somebody from, I don't know. I mean they could pull somebody off the street and turn him into a superstar with the MCU. Who is it? The black kid from Stranger Things. That's a good one.
Oh, that's a really good one.
What's his name? Somebody look up his name for me real quick while I keep going. So I do think it continues with Miles Morales. And the reason I say that is because obviously with the Disney Plus announcement on Disney Plus Day, Spider-Man freshman year is coming to Disney Plus. His name is Caleb Reginald McLaughlin.
Yeah.
That's a great choice. That's a great choice.
Yes.
I like that
kid. He's still young, so he would fit that role very well.
Very much Miles Morales. And, anyway, so Spider-Man freshman year coming to Disney Plus makes me think that obviously something has been struck up between Sony and Disney. So Peter Parker may not continue. Tom Holland may not continue, but Spider-Man will live on in the MCU, and I think it's to Miles Morales.
I can definitely agree. Yeah, I want to see a Miles Morales. I would love to see a Miles Morales make his appearance in this film. I'm going to agree with Scott that it would be towards the end where he kind of just shows up, possibly even in a post-credit scene. You know, this world, if we're still going with the probability of Tom Holland's Peter Parker dying, could it be that Strange pulls Miles into this reality to carry on the legacy of Spider-Man? And that's where we get the continuance and the introduction of Miles Morales into the MCU movie fandom. I would love to see Miles Morales. I think Caleb McLaughlin would be a perfect pick for that too. You guys have said everything, and I agree with that. All of what you guys said.
I like that. I like that idea of Strange plucking, Miles out of, what could be a bad universe for him and bringing him into a new one where he'll thrive. I like that idea.
Could it be that he's like he gets nanotech, just continuing with the Stark stuff, and that play into Armor Wars, with Cheadle, because he's plugged into this universe where he doesn't know Tony Stark, and he's like, what is this? I don't understand what's happening. And that's where he just builds off of it. And we get kind of an origin for Miles, where in that world, maybe he didn't get bit by that spider. He was just tagging everywhere, doing whatever he did. And in this universe, he becomes that. I think that would be cool to see. Just a little bit of an origin story that.
I love that we can get all these theories into one like this.
Yes.
Because, you really can. You can make a theory. You can make millions of theories about just this 3-minute trailer.
Yeah. Now, if we got Miles Morales, I would love a Spider Noir, and I really want Nicolas Cage to play him.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Please. Sometimes I light a match just to feel the pain when it burns. I can't remember the whole line. That's my favorite part of that movie.
Movie was fantastic, and I know we're about to talk about it. But the cracks at the end here really kind of look like the dimensional stuff from Into the Spider-Verse. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's dive into this. All right. So obviously, at the end of this movie, you have Strange. There's these purple crats coming to the sky, and he says they're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
Chills.
Who the hell is them?
So I hit you guys with a crazy little theory earlier that I've been reading a lot about. But Kevin Feige's first Marvel movie was X-Men, and the final scene takes place at the Statue of Liberty, and just the final scene in this one, fight scene, takes place on the Statue of Liberty, the brand new Statue of Liberty, by the way, which is being built to honor Captain America, which I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's pretty cool.
I actually did not even catch that.
Go back and check that out. So they're building, and she's not holding a torch anymore. She's holding Cap's shield, and that's why that construction's happening. It's pretty cool. Go check that out. But final fight scenes right there, all the scaffolding and stuff that we've seen the leaks on. Maybe this is their way of bringing the mutants into the MCU, but like Scott said in our group chat, it's too much, right? So what if?
I think it is.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll explain. I'll explain my take on it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's probably too much. So what if this is every villain, not just Spider-Man villains? This is plucking every villain back, and I'm talking Ultron, I'm talking Thanos, and obviously, we've seen this in like cartoons before, where we find a way to close the portal before they're able to get through, but all these villains from past movies are right here, and they're starting to come through, and we're able to close it down last minute based on Peter Parker's sacrifice.
Oh,
just something to ponder. I just wanted to go off the wall there. Ultron, Thanos, Killmonger, whatever.
That's a good take.
I like it.
Give me everybody.
Every single one.
Everybody.
Plop in front.
I even want the landlord from the Raimiverse. Fix the door.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door.
Jesus.
So I got to take, I don't know if anybody's going to like it because I just kind of thought of it.
I already hate it.
Oh, good. I'm glad you do. That's my whole point in life, is to make sure you hate everything I say. But
sorry, officer.
What if we get DC characters, and this is how we get a DC versus Marvel?
Dude, I ain't trying to interrupt you. I'm really not. If this is how we decide to cross DC and Marvel, honestly, I'm pissed. I'm a little pissed.
If you ever want to see me walk out of a goddamn movie, put Spider-Man through that fucking portal. Or Superman. Let Superman fly through that portal. I'd rather see Goku. Give me Goku. Give me a Pokemon. Pikachu.
Oh my God! If they brought in Goku, I would turn into 8-year-old Walker again, seeing Goku turn Super Saiyan 3 for the first time.
I'll stand up in the theater.
But anyway,
I'm sorry,
with
Walker.
This theory.
Go ahead.
I'm interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. It just came to me when I was thinking about it. I'm just like, what if they did DC? I don't know.
I want to defend you here because that might not be as crazy, right? Because, oh, God, Walker hasn't seen Eternals. Whatever. It's been out for 2 weeks. You should have seen it. Spoiler alert for the Eternals. They mentioned Batman and Superman.
They do.
In the Eternals. They name drop them.
No shit.
Maybe Darth Vader comes through the portal. Because they mentioned Star Wars as well.
We get Klingons flying down and shit.
All of Disney. Fuck it. It's all of Disney coming through.
All of Disney.
I mean, we're talking Princess Leia. Who else? Peach.
We want Moana.
We want Moana coming through. Dwayne The Rock Johnson's making his Marvel debut right now.
Luca flies up out of the water.
It's beautiful.
Jesus.
I already love it. But
I mean, I think a DC versus Marvel is something that they could rebrand as something, because we got some new Batman coming up soon. Henry Cavill has been very successful as Superman, and I don't know, that's just a random hot take that popped into my head.
We're gonna start doing this based on points, and I'm gonna deduct points.
Deduct points for that.
I lose,
like PTI style. Go ahead, Scott.
I'm gonna be the really lame one here.
Oh boy.
I really think that it's played up for the trailer. I truly think that's how we get Toby and Andrew finally.
Right.
Like maybe they feel
But
like it's a bad
hold on.
moment. Sorry.
But I think there's a reasoning why, because he says, because Strange says, they're starting to come through and I can't stop them. I think there's a reasoning why, and hear me out. I think he's trying to stop them because he says anyone who fights Peter, anyone who kept fighting there, Peter, was dying, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in a different universe now. What if he knows by them coming through there that they're going to die?
Oh.
Like, I know this sounds crazy, but like, obviously we get the villains in somehow.
Holy
and we
shit, I
don't
just built a theory. Go ahead.
we don't get an explanation of how the rest those universes are going all of a sudden. Like, we don't know how Tobey Maguire is thinking, like, well, where the hell is the Green Goblin at now, or where's Doc Ock? So what if somehow they were able to find a way and know like how to get through to this new universe? So they're pushing to try to come into this universe, but Strange is trying to stop them in a way of trying to save them.
Right.
And then the reason is because, like I told, like I mentioned to you guys earlier, like off this, it's too many characters as it is already to introduce more, especially at what looks like towards the end of the movie.
Right.
So I think that's how we did the Spider, how we did both the other Spider-Mans. I just don't think it's presented that way for that reason. Because I think there's a darker twist to it.
I have another take on that. I feel like I got to redeem myself here with my original take.
I want to
All
hear
right,
it.
let's hear it.
I alluded to Loki a lot, the series Loki, I feel like in this episode, but what if the fractures in the sky, because they are a little bit different than what we saw in Loki, just in their color, a little bit of their morphology. What if we get the individuals that were at the TVA? What if we get the variants that were imprisoned at the TVA coming into this universe? What if we get the items that the TVA had taken from the other variants? They had
the Void.
Tesseracts, they had Infinity Stones, they had so many things at the TVA. All this stuff isn't just going to explode. It's all converging into one timeline. So what if we get all of this stuff just slamming into one place? I mean, multiple Tesseracts, multiple Infinity Stones. That's where the characters come in, like Scott said, like we all believe is going to happen. What if it's all just converging onto this one timeline where Tom Holland's Peter Parker is there? That's how we get Miles. That's how we get all the other characters. What if this all just converges into one thing and we just get an explosion of stuff?
I mean, I'm with that. And it kind of makes me think, these crats coming through all of a sudden. I wonder if during that, because like you said, we have to think about like all these movies tie in together now. Movies,
Right.
shows, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
What if those crats forming or is the moment that Sylvie stabs He Who Remains and kills him? Because think everything starts going AWire then. All these universes start opening up.
Yeah.
What if that's it? And of course, Strange being the he all who knows all.
Sorcerer
he knows
Supreme.
he knows what's trying to come through that other side.
Right.
I'm telling you, dude, there's so many theories you can build off of this trailer.
I mean, literally, I just came up with one like on the run here because one of the questions that we didn't put in here that I just kind of thought of, like, big question, speed round real quick. I want to hear what you guys think, and then I'll give my take, and then I'll close this episode out. Why the hell is Doctor Strange willing to help Peter Parker literally cast a spell so dangerous? Even if it works out.
I think he's in that depressive episode, man. We've talked about it before. He's in his sweatpants, his headquarters. I can't remember the name of it.
The Sanctum.
Yeah, the Sanctum. It's in disarray. It's snowy. It's depressing. Is he just trying to do some good for once, or feel like he's doing good for once? Is he trying to redeem himself in this and feeling guilty for the death of Tony and building off of that? I don't know. though. That's a hard one.
I know I didn't give you guys time
wanna,
to think about this. I'm sorry.
That's
no,
all right.
I want to agree. I want to agree with the whole depressive state, but at the same time, it's like it's Doctor Strange. But this, so,
Right.
and hear me out. You know, the dude's a genius. But this is the way, because I don't know where I saw it, but I just remember reading it. You know, they say like, oh, why would he do such a thing? Well, this is the same man who was texting at 90 miles an hour.
And looking at an X-ray.
And looking at it, you know, I'm just saying, like, everyone's, you know, human.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that he probably knows what comes out of this. Like, he knows if he were to cast this spell, it's going to go wrong. Shit's going to go haywire. But him being who he is, I think he knows if they can play the cards right, the outcome, the good outcome that could come from it.
The best possible outcome.
Yeah, and that's why I think he does go through with it. Because I don't want to say that Strange is a impulse type of person. Like, he obviously thinks something. Like, he thinks of everything and he thinks it through before acting. You know, like he went through millions of different endings for, you know, how to defeat Thanos, and we get one good one, and you have to play it out of how it's the best way I can say it is he knows the answers to what people want.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just taking a chance of doing this in hopes that Peter will do it the correct way.
That's a good take.
I'm about to blow your mind.
Let's hear it.
I don't know. Maybe not.
It's
okay.
Your show, Kyle.
It's our show, baby. It's our show.
Our show.
All right. So, Doctor Strange's next movie is the Multiverse of Madness, right?
Yes.
Who is being plugged as the villain in the Multiverse of Madness? Wanda Maximoff, right?
Wanda Maximoff, yeah.
The post-credit scene of WandaVision, Wanda hears her kids, boom, right? She realizes she can get her kids. What is our very first moment in the MCU of Wanda Maximoff? Well, other than the post-credit scene of Winter Soldier. I'll save you some work.
Is it?
Or Civil War. I think it's Civil War. And either way.
Is that when she's in prison?
The very
first,
Pietro? Yeah, right. But no, so the very first image we get is in Age of Ultron when she's got her little spell. Maybe she cast that spell so that Doctor Strange will fuck up and open the multiverse. And there's so Doctor Strange is willing to help her because he is under Wanda's spell. And
working on a theory like 4 movies in the making, or more than that.
Shit.
And that's why Doctor Strange is so oh my god at the end of this movie, because now he's maybe while him and Peter are fighting, Peter hits him in the head. That's how the curse gets shaken off of. That's how the curse of the Mind Stone gets shaken off of Clint Barton, right, and so many others. So,
is that why Peter had magic?
Right. I mean,
holy shit.
I mean, this is just something I built on the run here. So
mine is blown. Mine is officially blown.
So maybe he is under Wanda's spell, and that's our post-credit scene of Spider-Man: No Way Home is him confronting her about that.
Oh,
you put
and that alludes to Multiverse of Madness.
Dude, there's so much. I'm telling you, one of my big issues with the MCU right now is that there's too much to track, too much to try and track, and if you're an idiot like us, it's going to get more and more difficult.
Yeah, because I don't even know what to think anymore about this movie. I'm just ready to see it.
I have a feeling this will not be our last recording before the movie comes out.
I can get down with that.
Yeah, I mean, this one was a 40-minute one, and I bet you there's another hour plus of stuff that we didn't mention or talk about. But
oh yeah.
For now, I'm going to get you guys out of here. Walker, thank you again for stepping up and being on Nerd Culture Undisputed. Always a treat.
Oh, I always love being on this show.
Thank you, buddy.
Coming to Nerd Out. Of course.
And Scott, of course, you can catch Scott on the Right On Squared Circle podcast. Those episodes are brand new every Friday. Scott, plug this week's episode and then send yourself out.
This week's episode is some cowboy shit and some Survivor Series predictions. We talk about just the fallout from Full Gear, AEW's Full Gear, and we do our predictions for this Sunday's WWE Survivor Series.
If you're a wrestling fan, sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you're a wrestling fan, come listen to some wrestling. Come
Yep.
talk some wrestling.
Also, this will be the very first edition of this podcast that will be available on Spotify. So if you're watching this video and you want to go out there and listen to this, just go out there, go ahead and do it. It'll be up, and because YouTube's so weird about keeping this stuff up. But for everybody else, I'm Kyle Wright. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Drop us a subscribe. Drop us some comments. Tell us. Answer some of these questions yourself, because there's a lot more questions than answers going into this movie, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I also hate it. So we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you as always. We'll see you guys on the very next episode of Nerd Culture Undisputed. Follow us on YouTube for sure, because you're going to get all of our great video content. And then go like us on Facebook, the Right On Network. You'll get all of the notifications for everything we put out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Nerd out.